Yo, everybody, it's Tiana Adeje. I am talking about mother and son relationships, and I actually have one of my cousins on the line. My cousin Kim. How are you, cuz?
Hey, cousin. I'm doing pretty good. I hope your day is going well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, like I said, I'm gonna just we're just gonna talk about just having this mother-son relationship because I know you are the mother of 3 sons. Can you go ahead and tell everybody what their ages are and their names, or if you want to share that?
Okay. Well, I actually have 3 boys, ages 3, 9, and 14. And their names are Anthony, Cameron, and Ethan.
All right. So we already know that she's been in this for a good minute as far as being the mother of 3 sons. And I just want to go ahead and get into these questions because I'm pretty sure you got some great answers. So let me go ahead and ask this first one. Would you say your sons are more receptive to tender love or tough love?
You know what? It honestly depends on the situation.
Uh-huh.
With my oldest son, he pretty much responds better to tough love than tender love. My 2 youngest boys respond better to tender love. But again, it depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for my oldest, because he's that teenager. He's at that teenager age where don't nothing really faze him. So it really just depends on the situation.
Okay. And so with the younger 2, though, with the tender love, it's more like just giving them the look, maybe, like if it's a disciplinary thing or something, like giving them a look to let them know that you know what, you didn't do the right thing, instead of just giving them that talk or something like that. Or what would be your example of the tender love for the younger ones?
So I would say, because all 3 are so totally different. So with my middle son, Cameron, that's my 9-year-old, you can just pretty much look at him and he knows I did wrong, and that pretty much puts him in a place where I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the baby boy, you pretty much have to do a little bit more of hands-on as far as taking things away or timeout time with him for him to acknowledge what he did wrong.
Okay.
So, that's the little toddler, so we're still learning the look. He doesn't really pay the look any attention, more so than Cameron.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said with the oldest one, it's more so with the tough love because it's, would it be the same though as far as taking things away, or you have to be a little bit stern in how you say things to him, or?
With him, it's both.
Okay.
I have to be stern. I do have to. He loves his game. That's his thing, YouTubing and gaming. So I take his gaming away. He's not a big talker on his phone, so that doesn't really faze him. But taking his game away, taking his shoes away, anything that's important, anything that's important to him, that's right there by itself, it kills him. So I have to do that along with sitting him down and having a conversation with him to let him know, okay, this is what cannot happen again.
Yeah. And so it shows you, I guess and then for you too, as far as being the mother, to have to balance between the tender and the tough love, does that help you in the way though? Like does it make you feel a certain way when you have to be one way and then have to turn around and be another way with the other son, or just it all depends as well?
It's all about balance. I can say that it's very helpful for me because I'm sure some of the mothers out there, you get tired of repeating yourself over and over and over again. You're tired of screaming. You're tired of, I don't know if those may whoop, but you're tired of whooping or giving the eye. So it's a little bit of balance, because whereas with one child, I don't have to do this, but I can do that. So it keeps me on my toes, but it's all about the balance. So I don't really get too frustrated when it comes to that, because the same with my children.
Yeah, I get it. And because you love them all equally, and there's no
exactly.
There's no favoritism, I would suggest, assume, because you're just not that type to, play favorites.
Right.
But you love them all unconditionally, and you know what it takes for one child versus the other, but yet at the same time you're able to, you know, just show them that, you know what, mom loves you regardless. I mean, I may have to correct you 1 minute, but we're gonna have the best of fun in another sense, you know. And I see what you mean when it comes to having that balance, especially for you, because as mothers, I mean, and having, you know, kids these days, it's just kind of hard to find our way as well when it comes to parenting, but yet we're learning just like them. I mean, it's a new thing almost every day, and so I see definitely what you mean, because you're how would I say it? You're a soft-spoken person, and if it brings that out of you to be that stern mother, then I'm pretty sure that your oldest and even the youngest ones understand that, you know what, mommy ain't a mean mommy. She's just, you know, she's showing her way of loving, and that I think that's what's important too when it comes to having any child, but especially for sons, because they always try to make it like we're trying to. Well, I don't have a son, but mothers try to soften their sons by, you know, babying them and just talking to them all soft, just so they won't, you know, come off aggressive or anything like that. But I think you. Well, I'm gonna ask you this then: do you allow them to come to you and have conversations about anything with you?
Yes, I have an open door policy with my sons because I am a single mother, so it's just me and them, and I don't like surprises, and I tell them all the time, I'm not your friend. I would never be your friend. I'm your mother. That's my job. However, that does not mean you cannot come to me when you have an issue. I don't care how bad you may think it is. That's my job, is to be there for you, and we can get through this and work through it and figure things out. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, then, what do you notice as a mother that sons need often?
You know what? I hate to say it, but I tend to notice a lot of people who do have sons. They try to. How can I put it without sounding so terrible? They want their sons to be hard.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone wants their child to be the best in football, to be the best in basketball, and everything like that. But it's okay for your child to express themselves on the sensitive side. Okay. So for me, I'm big on counseling. Like, that's my thing. I'm big on counseling. If you have a problem, let's go. Let's go figure this thing out. I'm big on showing your emotions, and I do know, just as far as our peers, from what I've seen, raising sons, they don't feel like their sons should cry. That's a form of weakness, and I beg to differ on that. I feel like more our black men as well as our black boys, if our black boys see our black men in a more sensitive light, then they won't walk around here with a chip on their shoulder. And that's one thing that I worry about with my sons. That's one thing I don't want to happen is they're walking around and they're just angry. Or they're holding everything in, all because they're so used to being hollered at, fussed at, and you better not cry. Yeah. Suck it up. So that's my thing with raising my boys. I feel like it's okay to express yourself and it's okay to cry. If that's what you need to do, go ahead and cry.
And so even in showing that in front of other people too, because I mean, a lot of guys feel like they can't cry in front of females, or else, like you said, it's gonna make them feel or seem like they're weak. But I mean, that's my thing too. If I'm dating you or whatever the situation is, I mean, if you cried around your mama, I mean, it's okay to cry around me too, because I'm not gonna judge you, because it's a human emotion. And and it's a way of expressing and also getting that stuff out, because I mean, if it's taking you through a sad process, then go through that process of being sad. And so I'm not gonna cry because it's gonna make me, you know, think through this or have to deal with that. Well, deal with it. Once you deal with it and once you go through it, then it's it just opens up an opportunity for you to just find where your strength is, because I mean, that's just temporary. You know, you can be sad for a moment, and like I said, it's just moving that out the way so that you won't allow that, like you said, that bitterness, holding that chip on your shoulder type of stuff, like all that, it just builds up after a while. And I know with a lot of guys, that's just too much buildup, you know? Because, I mean, you can strengthen yourself in a different way. And to me, it's just like, you know, it can show some kind of a strength, but yet it doesn't look like strength to other people that is from the outside looking in. So there's a way to build yourself, but also not holding yourself back from what you need to let go of and release.
Right.
But I hear you on that. So you're saying to have the freedom to express themselves is what they need often. Is there anything else that you think that your sons need?
A mother's love. Just like I've always said, the first love for a daughter is her father. And I don't think some women get it, some women don't. But as a mother of 3 boys, a mother's love. And they also need to be taught how to treat women. So the way you are with your sons, if you teach them early the do's and don'ts when dating or speaking to a young lady and things like that, then they will also come back years later like, okay, you raised a good son. He's mannerable. He opens my doors. He does this. He does that. And I often always tell, really my oldest son, because he's at that age where he's like in girls. He's 14. So I often tell him, you treat a female the way you would want a man to treat me. So if you're out here disrespecting that female, then just remember that man that I'm dating, he's treating me the same exact way you're treating that female. So I try to always use me as an example in everything with them, just so they can remember, okay, mama, she did tell me if I treat a female like this, then it's a possibility that a man could treat her the same way. So, yeah, all about just the teachings of letting things go. It's okay to express yourself, but also keep in mind that you are eventually going to be this man, and you need to show respect. So it's all about your morals. We always go with that as well.
Yeah, because it's definite with the men, because they're being looked at more. Wherever they go, whatever they do, they always got an eye on them. And it can be family, it can be friend, it can be coworker, it can be anybody. But just because it falls back on the upbringing of them, and you definitely let it be known that, you know what, they are being raised very, very well. Especially like you said, with you being a single mother. I mean, sometimes you just never know, like, what the household is like, you know, when it comes to looking at these young men these days. Like, okay, is the father in the home? Is he not? Or is, you know what I mean? So, and then sometimes they try to make it like, oh, okay, so-and-so's not there. Well, maybe he is, but he's not there as often. So it's just kind of, you know, getting into the depths of why young men, you know, act the way they act and things like that. But again, it falls back on the parenting. To me, always, I feel that's what it is. Was there anything else though, outside of the having the love and, you know, being able to express or anything?
For me, that's pretty much my number one. When it boils down to what they really need. Of course, mentorship and things like that is they are in a single parent home. Like for me, around strong men. But for the most part, just a mother's love, because a lot of little boys, it's sad to say, they don't get that. You know, my son has friends that he goes to school with, and he tells me stories, and I'm just like, really? You know, and I'm like, I wasn't raised that way. So I'm definitely not raising you that way, but hopefully their parent wasn't raised that way, but maybe the mother was raised that way, and that's why they're treating their child that way. So I just feel like a mother's love goes a long way. It really does. Yeah. Not just telling your children you love them, but actually show it to them.
Yeah, it's definitely in the showing. Because the many times I hear, you know, people saying I love you and I this and I that, but you ain't show nobody nothing. I love you, but you ain't supporting me. You ain't physically here. I mean, when you could be. So yes, definitely the showing of it. And to me, I mean, I may be a little awkward with this, but I mean, it's not just in a hug too to say that you love somebody, because just to spend that time with someone, because I'm pretty sure you spend a lot of time with your sons, just letting them know, just letting them know, you know, that you love them. Because I know that they, like I said, they're being watched. I mean, the parents are being watched and the child is being watched. That's what I kind of tell some of the teens too that I work with, because I work at a school. But it's just, you just got to be careful of what you express, because it shows that you're not getting that much attention at home. So, but you, like I said, a lot of parents, especially mothers, definitely show that with their sons, and it shows. So I commend you on that too. Just doing what you say and saying what you gonna do, and letting it be known. So with that, then, what are some of the things you all love to do together then, since you show?
Yeah, and that's right there. That's an interesting question, because they're all 5 years apart. So it's always hard trying to find one thing to do where my oldest son is happy or the baby boy is happy. I will say one thing that we do get along with doing is watching movies. We try to watch a black movie once a week.
Okay.
Black on, black, everything just black, you know. Once a week. And that right there, they tend to enjoy that. But like I said, it's really hard with the age gap, doing things together. Like this past weekend, we went to the zoo, and my oldest son, he really didn't have fun.
Right.
The youngest two did, but Anthony was just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
So with him, I actually have to do things together by himself, just him, or him and Cameron. But the baby boy can go. So it's kind of like I'm at a hard time with him, with that age. But for the most part, I will say watching a movie once a week, a black-owned movie once a week, is pretty much, I found that to be successful with them. We try to game night, but again, with the age gap, my oldest is just like, Mama, this is boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much movie night with them. And we do like to travel. We do like to travel.
Okay. Cool. Anywhere in specific, like you guys have really had like almost most fun, or something that they really all enjoyed?
Let me think. I like to say Miami.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Ethan don't remember, but anywhere there's beach, water, you know, nice temperature, they all in.
Yeah. Okay.
Miami is pretty much our go-to.
So the water runs in the family. I tend to think that. Yeah, we love water too over here. I know you said you attempted the game night though, but did you ever ask him like what or Anthony what he likes to do, or what he would like for everybody to do together with him?
So let me tell you about Anthony. He's a big competitor. So he likes Uno, and I like Uno as well. But when we play Uno, he doesn't like for Cameron to play, only because when he tries to explain to Cameron, he's not understanding it. So he's very impatient in teaching his brothers on how to play a game. So it's kind of like, that's okay.
Okay.
And if he's one of those, if he's not winning, I don't want to play. So he's very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those.
So
he's one of those.
So he got to play with the right people, so that
he has to play. Yes, he can't play with Cameron because Cameron is still learning. And once he's getting it and Cameron is winning, he's done. I'm done. I don't want to play no more.
Got it.
So the game night is never successful. It's always either Cameron's getting mad at AJ or AJ's getting mad at Cameron. So it's just like, you know what? Let's just watch a movie.
Yeah. Let's just call it a tie. Look, everybody won. We just gonna move on to something else, so everybody stay happy or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like they're rolling into the next one. So then, would you say their personality comes from you, their fathers, or a mixture, or they probably just got their own personality?
Okay, I'll start with the baby boy. It's really, with him, I just say he has his own personality. He's his own little person. Now, Cameron, he has my personality all day long, all day.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony, he has a mixture of both.
Okay.
He has a mixture of both of our personalities.
Okay. Well, I would ask you to go in depth, but I mean, it's just, you just got to get to know the person in order to know, that she's right. He's like her and he's like him. But, okay. Yeah. Well, this is the last question then. Did you ever think it would be hard raising sons?
Yes.
Okay. How so?
I was going to say, I knew when I found out I was pregnant with Anthony. Well, I knew, okay, let's start here. I always wanted my first child to be a boy, and of course my second child to be a daughter, because, he protects the daughter. Well, of course, that didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I did know it would be hard because they already have 2 strikes against them. Mm-hmm. And I tell them this to this day, you have 2 strikes against you. And they know what, except the baby boy, of course he doesn't understand, but the oldest 2, when I say that, they know exactly what I mean, and that's you're black and you're male.
Exactly.
So that means when you go to school, I need you to sit in the front of the class. I need you to raise your hands to ask questions. I need to also make sure that you're making these good grades so that you can do better in the world, because you already got these 2 strikes. Mm-hmm. You got 1 more strike and you're out. 3 strikes, you're out. Mm-hmm. So I did. I knew that it would be hard. It's harder now than it was when I first became a mother, because social media is just out there with so much hate. Whereas before, all we had was MySpace. I think that's all we had. Mm-hmm. Facebook was for college students only, so it wasn't filled with what it's filled with now. Now you got Instagram, Snapchat,
TikTok.
Twitter, and you have TikTok, and my oldest son, he often sees the hate. So, yeah, that's the most, I say it's scary, because I'm that mother to tell them, if you ever get pulled over by the police, don't question. You just do what he said, because your job at the end of the day is to go home safe. Mm-hmm. We don't care if he's doing things that he's not supposed to be doing. Just, yes, sir, so you can go home safe. We'll handle it with an attorney if he did something wrong. It's not your job to question. So I try to make sure I drill them with that. Mm-hmm. And I also let them know that you are who you hang around. Mm-hmm. Because if you're hanging around drug dealers, if you're hanging around stealers, or if you're hanging around anybody that you're hanging around that's in a negative way, even if you're not doing it, people are going to think that you're doing that, which is going to make my job harder as a mother, because now I'm sitting up here in court trying to figure out, okay, now what did you do? Right. Because I know I told you not to hang around with little Ray Ray, because little Ray Ray steals, so I knew it would be hard. It's harder now than, like I said, it was when I first became a mother, and it continues to get hard because it's that fear. I have a black son in America who America hates. Yeah. They don't like my child because he's black. Yeah. So you have to dress a certain way, or you have that stigma of he's a thug. Right. Or like my oldest son, he has a hat that he loves to wear, it's a ski mask, but he rolls it up. And when he puts it over his face, I'm like, let's not do that. And I had to explain to him why. Because if you go into this neighborhood, they're going to think you're trying to steal, rob them. So it's a lot when it comes to our black boys and the do's and don'ts. And it's just not fair, but it's just our reality in the world that we live in today, unfortunately. Yeah. Man. Because it's so many, like you said, it's a lot of influences, and they tend to, a lot of the young people tend to get easily attracted to what influences them very fast. Yeah. And and it's kind of like you also said with the breaking away of who you hang around, because you know the minute you get caught up with the wrong people, you got to try to figure out, okay, how do I break this tide? How do I break this connection
without them, feeling like, okay, I'm being sheltering them or anything like that, because you're just protecting them the way that you know how. And so that's another thing too. I think I noticed, but most definitely, I hear what you're saying when it comes to raising black males, and it's very sad, and I don't think a lot of people know where to begin when it comes to trying to make a difference or change that, other than us changing how we approach situations. Like you said, with the whole pulling over or anything like that, God forbid, we just pray that doesn't ever happen, because it's like that's a very, very scary situation, because I hear it a lot when it comes to my brothers and what they have to deal with when they're getting pulled over and things like that, just for something so simple. So you got about 50 of them cars just because you got a tail light that's out or something like that. You feel like you couldn't handle me one-on-one, so it's like you got to take it a step further, and now you making me to seem like I'm the bad guy or whatever, when all I could have easily been told was, hey, you know what, you got a tail light, whatever. And it also, goes back to how we respond to them.
Exactly.
But again, with the males, they just all automatically assume that they're going to be aggressive as soon as they approach them. But that's a story in itself when it comes to that whole situation. But I'm so grateful and glad to know that you are steering them in the right direction. You are letting them know ahead of time what to look out for when it's their moment to step out into the real world. Because right now it's just they're getting the basics like they do in school. They're getting the prerequisites, getting what you need before you hit the reality of it all. And like I said, it's just so wonderful to know that you are just steering them in the right direction. Because if they don't listen to nobody else, and that's another stereotype too, to think that black males or males period don't listen to male authorities, but to know that they listen to their mothers, and that's a lot that you hear. My mama said this, my mama said that.
Right.
To know that they're hearing what mama said, and if they're not verbally saying that they're hearing you, then they're showing it by their actions, like we spoke about earlier. But you doing the best you can, cause and man, every time I see them, it's just like you would never know, what they're dealing with, but you know how to raise them the way that you know how to raise them, all because your relationship with your father and how he instilled a lot in you when it's dealing with those male factors or male figures in your life. So you're just passing it down.
That's what I'm doing, and that's my goal. I came from a rich background. Of course, we both did. So, I mean, reputation is everything. I tell them all the time, don't you embarrass me.
Yeah.
Please don't embarrass me, because you don't want me to embarrass you.
I love that motto. If you embarrass me, I can embarrass you. I can show act a fool. Like you really finna show out like in front of all these people, and I think that I won't go there. That's fine. I'm sorry. I had a moment, but yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Just to wrap it up, then, cause do you have any advice that you would like to give to any mother that you may know of, or just any mother in general that's having a hard time maybe raising sons? Or
well, one thing I would say as far as raising your son is try to get to know him inside. I know we get caught up in our daily routine with work, and we have to go home and clean, and we have to do this, but actually take a moment and sit back and get to know your son. What is it that your son likes to do? Notice his temperament. Okay, what makes him happy, what makes him sad, and why? Again, it goes back to counseling. If you feel like you see something and your child is not talking to you, or if you can't get that information from somebody else to tell you, okay, I see something going on with my child, let's go to counseling. Let's see how we can fix this. Because, again, it all goes back to that mother's love. And when that child feels loved and that trust is there, that bond is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry. You know, you don't have to worry about a mother-son bond. It's gonna always be there, and it's our job as mothers to make sure we show that love, not just tell them, but show them that love, as well as other things, of course, teach them other things. But it's all, like I said, most importantly is that love.
Mm-hmm.
That love.
Yeah, because about 5 to 10 years from now, depending on their age, whoever they choose to date doesn't want to feel like they have to make up for what mama didn't do for you.
Exactly.
And that definitely goes a long way. Again, that can be another story for another time or another situation for another time. But just to make it all make sense is just, you just start with your child and being able to raise them the best you know how. Your sons. Start with your sons and being able to raise them the best way you know how, so that they can pass along what they were taught, and that cycle, that positive cycle, can continue rather than what this is that we've been dealing with. I appreciate you, cousin, so much, so much for answering.
You're welcome, cousin.
I love you all so much as well, and we shall continue to talk.
And thanks for having me on. And we love you too. We do love you too.
Yes. Please give them a hug for me. I love all three of them. And you too. Again.
I will.
Yes.
I will.
Y'all have a good one, okay?
Okay. You too.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye.